There is a certain feeling you get when an old Neo song comes on. You might be in a grocery store or scrolling on your phone and So Sick or Miss Independent just slips into the background. For a second, you are back in the mid 2000s. Flip phones, baggy jeans, music videos on TV after school. You remember the hat, the suit jackets, the smooth hooks you could sing even if you did not know all the words, and then you realize you do not really know what he is doing now. Not exactly. You just know that something feels different. He is still around, but not in the same way. So asking, what happened to Neo, is not really asking what went wrong. It is more like asking what actually changed. Why does someone who once felt like the center of R&B now feel like a name you mostly hear in headlines about relationships or in random clips on social media? Because it is not that he just vanished. It is more that the whole setup around him shifted. The music, the business, the way fame works, and he shifted too. If you rewind to the mid 2000s, Neo's rise feels almost obvious in hindsight. Shaffer Kamir Smith comes in as a songwriter first, helping write huge records for other artists. Then, in 2006, he steps out front with So Sick. That heartbreak song is simple, clean, and everywhere. Radio, countdown shows, ringtones. It feels like the perfect mix of R&B and pop. Then there is Because of You, Closer, Mad, Miss Independent. Each one comes with a clear image: the fedora, the suit, the polished videos, the dancing that never tries to do too much, just enough. He becomes the kind of artist who you assume will always be on the charts. By the early 2010s, he is not just a singer, he is a writer for other stars, a go-to voice for hooks, a bridge between R&B and pop dance records. He shows up on songs, in movies, on TV shows. His name equals a certain kind of quality and a certain kind of era. Back then, it felt like the usual path was simple. You build hit albums, you stay friendly with radio, you tour, you might act. The big goal is to stay in that spotlight as long as possible. But while Neo is having his run, the system under him is already changing. If you zoom out, you can see that his career is sitting right on a fault line. The music business moves from buying CDs to downloading songs to streaming playlists on your phone. Radio is not the only king anymore. Social media, especially short video apps, starts deciding what blows up. Instead of a label picking a single, people on an app might pick a 6-second part of a song and make it huge. The hook matters more than the whole track. Playlists matter more than album covers, and the sound of R&B that Neo helped define begins to share space with new waves: trap, melodic rap, Afrobeat, more blurred lines between genres. The industry also changes what it rewards from artists. In the mid-2000s, being private could be cool. You did interviews, you went on TV, you did not have to show your entire life. By the mid to late 2010s and into the early 2020s, people are almost expected to turn themselves into reality shows on their own pages. Relationship drama, kids, friendships, everything becomes content. At the same time, touring becomes more important for money, while streaming pays less per play. Older hits live forever online, which is great, but it also means new songs are competing with your own classics every single day. So, Neo is trying to be an artist in a world where the rules, the platforms, and even the sound of R&B are all moving. And on top of that, his personal life is not quiet. He marries Crystal Renee in 2016. They have 3 children together. From the outside, it looks like the classic R&B star settles down story. Behind the scenes, it is messier. There are breakups, makeups, and public posts from Crystal in later years about infidelity. By early 2023, the marriage is officially over. The divorce settlement is large, a lump sum well over $1 million, money for moving, monthly child support in the 5 figures, plus spousal support for a set amount of time. At one point, Neo's legal side even argues that some of Crystal's public comments cost him hundreds of thousands of dollars in shows and deals. So, his love life is no longer just personal, it is something that crosses into the business itself. Around this time, the headlines start to tilt. Instead of new Neo hit, there is more Neo and his ex, or Neo's relationship drama. The same platforms that decide viral songs also feed on messy clips and quotes. Then, there is the shift in how he chooses to live and talk about love. After the divorce, he does not move back into a quiet, private life. Instead, he becomes more open and more different than people expect. He has children with Sade Janea Banarais. He is linked to other women. Then, by early 2025, he goes on shows like The Ricky Smiley Morning Show and lays it out. He is non-monogamous. He is not trying to be the one-woman traditional husband figure anymore. In March of that year, he even introduces 4 girlfriends publicly: Christina, Ariel Hill, Monet, and Brianna Williams. Each one has a nickname. He calls them his pyramid.
Absolute truth. I'm being absolutely honest with everybody involved,
Right.
as is everyone is being absolutely honest with me, and we are happy.
And
And
that's what
the focal
matters.
point for me. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? What you feel about it is what you feel about it. Opinions are not special. Everybody has one.
Totally.
You know,
I
so
agree.
it's what it is.
Have your kids asked you any questions that?
Of course.
Yeah. Was that hard, or were you like?
He explains that he is open with his kids about this life, that the key is honesty, and that while he dates all of them, they have chosen to be exclusive to him. For some people, that level of openness feels honest and grown. For others, it clashes hard with their idea of what love and family should look like, especially from a singer they remember crooning about one true love in the mid-2000s. Online, the reaction is mixed: support, jokes, anger, curiosity, and once again, the story is less about the music and more about how his love life fits into today's conversation about relationships. But while all of that is happening, he is not actually gone from the stage. Neyo is still touring. His Champagne and Roses tour runs from late 2023 into late 2024, taking him around the world. He finishes his Good Man tour in that same window. He keeps performing in places like Japan and Sri Lanka. There are sold-out crowds, fans singing along to songs that are almost 20 years old now. Yet, the way touring is covered has changed. A clip of him pushing a fan offstage during a concert in Kobe, Japan in late 2025 spreads online. The fan jumps on stage, he shoves them away. Afterward, he explains that he will not allow disrespect on his stage, that he takes that space seriously. The story that travels is not Neyo performs for thousands in Japan. It is Neyo pushes fan. The moment is real, but the frame around it reveals how attention works now. On the music side, he is still releasing new work. Singles like Simple Things and Not the Same drop in 2025. He talks about wanting to dabble in country, writing songs in Nashville, telling stories in new ways. Instead of chasing the exact same sound he had in 2007, he is trying to explore and blend. But that older system where labels and TV would hold up one big R and B release and say, "This is the moment," is not really there for him anymore. New songs fight for space in huge playlists. Algorithms lean toward younger artists, catchy hooks, or songs that line up well with trending dances. So to a casual listener, it can seem like he stopped. But if you look closer, he just moved into a place where the spotlight is not locked on him all the time. There are also new lanes. In late 2024, Neo steps into sports management. He signs professional boxer Paul Bamba as his first client. He talks about how his uncles loved boxing, how he grew up watching fights, how he wants to help athletes build careers. This is not the dramatic faded star story you sometimes hear. It is a familiar shift. Use fame, business lessons, and connections from music to build something in another field. Less global spotlight, more steady work behind the scenes. Even controversies around him now, like the cancelled concert in Sri Lanka in late 2025, show how the system has changed. The show gets called off at the last minute over payment and local authority disputes. Fans are upset, money is questioned, and legal issues fall mostly on planners and organizers. In another era, a cancelled show might have been a small story in one country. Now it is a clip, a thread, a debate. Every bump on the road gets magnified and shared, even if the artist is not the one who caused it. When you put all of this together, the picture that comes out is not of someone who fell off a cliff. It looks more like a slow, quiet transformation. Neo moved from being the face on every countdown to being part of a wider, more complicated ecosystem. His classic songs still play at weddings, in stores, on playlists called 2000s R&B. He still tours, records, and creates. He adds sports management. He lives a personal life that is much more open and less traditional than the image some fans built for him. At the same time, The music world itself has turned into this giant buzzing network where a million things happen at once. It is harder for any one artist who peaked in the CD era to feel as present as they once did unless they completely rebuild themselves around short videos, constant sharing, and non-stop posting. Neyo did not fully do that. He adjusted in his own way. He leaned into honesty about his life. He kept making music that sounds like him while trying new colors here and there. He found other lanes to put his time and money into. So, when we ask, what happened to Neyo? The answer might be softer than we expect. The music scene moved from albums in plastic cases to sounds that live for 12 seconds on your screen. The idea of love and family that people project onto their favorite singers shifted. His own choices in love, money, and work took him off the simple, straight line we like to imagine for artists. He did not vanish. He just stopped living in that small, clear box we put him in back when So Sick was the song you cried to in high school. Maybe the real story here is not about rise and fall, but about how an artist grows older in public while the world keeps changing around them. And maybe the next time one of his songs sneaks into the background of your day, it is worth pausing for a second, not to ask, where did he go? But to notice that he is still here, just living a different kind of chapter than the one we first met him in.